Hello and welcome to a special edition Junk Baller podcast. My name is Michael Greenwood and I'm here with my good friend Kevin Otterbein. Kev, how you doing?
I am special. Thank you for saying that. It took you long enough.
It's not that type of special. No. It is a special podcast because we have our good friend Taylor Hernandez with us, and he has a special program/idea that he ran by us that we think is a really good idea.
Hello.
Yes. Hey, Taylor, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Good to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I heard that there was a couple of white guys making a sports podcast, and I thought to myself, man, that's such a fresh idea that I just got to get on the ground floor.
Exactly.
Couple boomers, just telling you everything wrong with the sport.
Here to bring some youth to the pod.
Even though you're older than me?
Older than you in, technical terms, yep.
Yep. That's very true. So thank you for being here once again.
Happy to be here.
I'll give it to you in 1 second to explain everything about what's going to happen. But first, we had a little interesting debacle about an hour ago. We couldn't find our extra mics. We normally have two mics that Kevin and I use, but I was given 2 extra mics.
Well, right now we have 5.
We have 5. Okay, there's too many jokes going on right now. But we can't find our other 2 microphones. Kev texted me. He's like, hey, do you know where they are? And I'm like, no, they should be there. I have no freaking clue. And so we still cannot find our extra mic. So we've had the microphone gnomes take it or something like that. And I don't know. But luckily, I went to Micrognomes. There you go. Went to Micro Center and just got a random microphone. And it works. And there's no refunds for it. So it's just bought a mic, and here we are.
Yeah, if it sounds a little rough, I'm using it. And so if you hear any like that, it's because I have to hold it.
Yeah, he has to hold it. No mic stand. This is what you get for being a special guest here. We don't have any special requirements. You get to be airtime. That's it.
It's an honor. It's an honor to be the first guest.
Only professional stuff here.
Yeah. No Mickey Mouse.
Your green room is
first class production.
Your green room is a little lackluster, I gotta say.
Yeah,
it's not really green.
You're wearing green though.
I am.
You're wearing green.
I think it's the only green in this room right now.
Also, you're still wearing the Yankee hat. I didn't bring any Phillies or baseball stuff. Taylor,
begrudgingly, I wore my shirt.
Yeah, I thought about wearing a jersey, but why don't Taylor you introduce yourself a little bit? Oh, Aaron Judge just hit another home run. For the love of gosh, he's killing it right now.
Indeed. And he doesn't have to look at the dugout to do it.
No, he doesn't. That was
it was dumb. But anyway.
Yeah. But again, Taylor, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone a little bit, and then after you introduce yourself, explain the idea that you have and what this podcast is going to be about.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Taylor Hernandez. I've been friends with Kev and Mike here since we were in college. Kevin and I joined the Ultimate Frisbee team at Eastern at the same time, and Peaches joined the year after. Peaches and I actually went to the same high school.
Correct.
Didn't really know each other at the time, but we saw each other and recognized each other when he came out to practice, and so we've been friends ever since then. It's been a great time. I fell in love with baseball at a very young age. It was my favorite sport growing up because it was my grandfather's favorite sport, specifically the Phillies, and I wanted to be just like him, and so he would take me to games, and I just fell in love with the sport from a very early age. And him and my uncle are probably my 2 biggest influences when it comes to the game growing up. My uncle's kind of crazy. He's got a knack for World Series knowledge. You give him a year, and he could tell you the 2 teams that played in the World Series that year and who won it. And so it's always been interesting growing up with them in my family. Just this crazy wealth of baseball knowledge, and so
sounds amazing.
It's great. It's not a bad time at all. And so got a lot of cousins who are into the game too now because of them. And so love the game, love the sport. A little bit different views from you guys in terms of the way that the game's going, but my whole thing with sports is just that they're supposed to be fun, they're supposed to be entertaining. If they're not that, take a break from them if you need to. And so my thought was, let's bring some fun to the pod. Not that it hasn't been fun and great already.
I was about to say, how dare you come at us like that?
But yeah, so I brought an idea, and I figured we could run with it. So right now, in the world of podcasts, drafts are a particularly popular thing. So I thought it would be fun to do a draft here on this episode. Specifically, drafting an all-time lineup of baseball players from any era, current, way back in the day, what have you, including one starting pitcher, one relief pitcher, and one DH. So that's what I thought, and I figured what better place to bring it than the Junk Baller podcast.
To be honest, I totally forgot about the relief pitcher. So that's going to be ad-libbed.
Did you not look at the board when you walked in, Peach?
I did not. No, I did not look at the board. It's behind me.
It's at the bottom.
It is. Relief pitcher. I see
Yep.
it. Yeah. So that one's going to be off the top of my head.
It's all right. So we should clarify a couple rules, though,
Mhm.
before we move on. First things first, our DH is going to be our last pick, all of our last picks.
Mhm.
We figured that way we can add in a couple of our honorable mentions into that spot. And then also it just kind of limits weird things with positions and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Secondly, we're going to try not to drag on too long with each pick,
Mhm.
but there's not going to be a specific clock for anything.
Yeah, no. No.
And other than that, we're just going to kind of have some fun.
Yeah. And we will have the results for these teams online so that way you can vote and see who the best team is. We also are going to have one of our friends, Mike Paisani, kind of give a gut reaction to, because he's here, he's listening to it right now live, but just have him give a gut reaction to who he thinks might have the best team. We also might talk about, which team would win in a fight, which team might have the best defensive team, stuff like that. We'll talk about all that. But we're really excited, and why don't we get started?
Yeah.
So who is the first pick?
I have the first. Then, and it's not because it was my idea. It's because we had Pi pick a number, and I happened to get the closest, and so I got the first overall pick. I'm not sure I wanted it. It's a lot of pressure.
It is, because you have all the players in Major League history. Oh, we forgot to talk about the steroid guys.
Steroid guys.
So we didn't put them off limits for, you can take them if you want, but obviously there is that connotation and kind of not asterisk to it, but it is up for grabs,
Yep.
which is whether or not they take them or not is up to you.
Right. Yep. So they are on the board, but we'll see how.
We'll see how it goes.
That's up to the court of public opinion on whether or not that's a good pick or not.
Mm-hmm.
So with the first overall pick, there's a couple positions on the board where I feel like there's a short list of truly great players that play that position.
Yes, there is.
One of them is third base.
Ah, you jerk.
And this is going to sound like a homer pick because I'm a Phillies fan, but I think it's pretty solidified that he's the best of all time at the position. So I'm going to take Mike Schmidt at number one.
Wow, Mike Schmidt going number one
He is.
all-time fantasy.
Yep.
Draft.
Yep. Like I said, if it wasn't for how short the list is, I probably would have picked somebody else. Also, if I wasn't the first overall pick, I probably would have picked them. So
Yeah.
I had to get him off the board to make sure that I got a good pick at that position, and that's my justification.
Wow. So first off, I hate you because that was one of my must-haves in
Yep.
my draft.
Yep, same.
Go cry about it.
I'm gonna cry about it. I can air it right now. Just oh my gosh. So that's a little frustrating. But so I have a question. Would you have drafted him? Is there a little bit of bias with the Phillies, or like do you think if you were a Baltimore Orioles fan drafting Brooks Robinson, would that have done something different?
I mean, like definitely my knowledge of him is heightened because I'm a Phillies fan, but at the same time, I feel like if you Google any list of the best third basemen of all time, I'm pretty sure every one of them he's going to be number one.
Yeah.
Like he's an incredible player, incredible hitter, arguably the best Philly of all time. Like it's it's hard to not pick him.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's a good. I like the pick. I'm just angry.
Yep. Okay.
So it's my turn now, right?
Yep.
It
He's
is.
Okay.
Number two.
So that throws off my strategy a little bit. Not too far off. But I agreed that, there is definitely some players that have, at certain positions that don't have as much. But I also want to take one of the best players of all time, too. I don't want to take someone that's, might be like 10, 15 or something like that and maybe the greatest of all time. So I'm going to take a guy who, if you took away all his home runs, he would still have over 3,000 hits. And that's the great Hank Aaron, outfielder Hank Aaron. So That's my first overall pick. I think that
Hank Aaron's not a catcher. Pie.
so.
Pie's manning the draft board, and you just put Aaron at catcher.
That'd be a very interesting position.
I mean, we don't know. Was his scouting card? Was he a catcher?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
He,
either.
he was primarily an outfielder,
Yeah.
and I think right field sounds right.
I remember-
you have to say where you're going to put him.
Oh, he's going to be right field.
Right field.
He's going to be right field. Yeah. He came up as a right fielder, but I remember on his scouting card he was listed as needs more pop, not much potential. I think it was like a C grade or something like that. But Hank Aaron, one of the best to ever do it.
Yep.
Also, rest in peace, passed away I think a year or two ago, and I loved Hank Aaron. Even though he's a Brave, fantastic all around, love him.
I think he was a top 10 in almost every offensive category you
Yeah.
could think of. RBIs, home runs, hits. He was well over 3,000.
I mean, I have my number 3 hitter right there. That's all I need, right there.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go. Can't argue with it.
Yeah, I agree. For mine, it will not be Derek Jeter.
It's not Derek Jeter. Darn.
But it is another Yankee. And I was thinking in Taylor's mindset how it had to be something that was more selective in scope because of it
I
being
know
the
who
number
it
one
is.
pick.
I know who it is.
And I had to zero in on one particular one, and that's the relief pitcher.
Oh,
Yep, I knew it.
So I'm going to go with the
Oh.
greatest reliever without doubt of
Yep.
all time, Mariano Rivera.
wow.
I knew that was going to happen.
I did not. I thought it was going to be someone else for a Yankee.
Kev, I got to tell you, if it got back to me, I was going to take him just so you were both mad at me.
Oh, I wasn't going to pick him. No, I'm good. No, that's not me.
A little bit of gamesmanship going on.
So is he the
Good pick.
greatest reliever of all time?
I think so.
No, I agree. I was just
Yeah.
joking. No, he's easily the greatest reliever of all
Yeah,
time.
I was watching like the top 9. I think they had on MLB Network once, and they showed like a quick clip of him as he was going to be revealed number 8, and I was going to throw something at the TV, but then they said it was someone else. So
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, I like you guys are going with different strategy than I am. At least for round 1.
Yeah.
Round 1. But you didn't take him off my board because I didn't have a relief pitcher on my board. So
But he's got one more pick.
he's got. That's right. He does have. So we have a snake draft. So if anyone doesn't know what a snake draft is, the first overall pick goes first. Then it was me. Then Kev. Then Kev, since he was last, he gets to have another pick, and then it goes back to me, and then back to Taylor. Okay, but then Taylor gets another pick. So it's a little bit of a snake draft.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to pick another Yankee, but I'll
You
pick someone.
can.
I think I'll pick someone who played his entire career first with a New York team and then with a San Francisco team, because he was with the Giants for 20-something years. Well, he did play one last year with the Mets. He did come back with the Mets in the 70s. He is known mainly for one play over his
Yeah.
shoulder, that catch. Everyone's seen the picture. But I think he's got to be one of the best 5-tooled players of all time, and I got to go with him. I'm going to stick him at center field, Mr. Willie Mays.
There you go. There you go. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Really good pick.
Okay. So that was my top center fielder. So that was going to be, it wasn't going to be my next pick, but if he fell, I was going to do it. Okay. I see. I didn't put an order for how I did it. I just kind of, have what I want, and then I'm going to choose it. But going off of what you guys are doing, I might pull a little bit of a curveball or something like that. Nah, just go with my gut. I should just go with my gut. I'm taking Ted Williams. I'm doing the outfield. I'm going to have the best lineup. Let's go. Ted Williams.
Any particular reason why?
Arguably, probably it could be argued that he's the best hitter of all time. One of the cool stories about Ted Williams is that sometimes his eyesight was so good that the umpires would, if they if Paul was a really close call, the umpires would use his discretion. So if he just took it, they were like, okay, we're just going to call it a ball because his eyesight was that good. And also he missed a couple years because he was in the military during World War II. So I got to look up his stats. It's kind of crazy that he missed all that time and he still finished with arguably one of the best freaking.
Well, they better keep those eyes for his cryogenically frozen body that they still have somewhere, I think.
Yeah, so he finished with 344 batting average, 521 home runs, and a career OPS of 1.116. And he missed 3 years because of military service. And that was his 24, 25, and 26 age season. after he had just led the league in home runs, and walks, and batting average, and on base, and slugging, and OPS plus.
And was the last hitter to hit 400 in a season.
Correct. He's the all-time leader in on-base percentage. So I got my 3 and 4 hitters right now. I'm good.
My only comment is, with guys like that, coming into my picks, my draft, I wanted guys who I felt could definitely play in any era. And I'm not saying he couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
but given how long ago he played,
Mm-hmm.
who knows?
I mean, with numbers that good, he might have been like Trout level right now, in my opinion. I mean, a career 1.16 OPS. Like, also, even with no power, he was a great hitter, just in that sense. But yeah, 2-time MVP, 2-time Triple Crown, 19-time All-Star, 6 batting title, and yeah. So I got my. So he's my left fielder. Okay, good, awesome. Taylor.
Next, so since I kind of went with one of my short list players, I want to go with, for my next one, not necessarily a short list. He's going to be an outfielder, but somebody who I like one of my must-haves, meaning I just want him on my team. He's somebody that I think of when I think about baseball. He kind of changed the culture around baseball. He made it cool for generations of kids. And so with my second pick in center field, I'm going to take Ken Griffey Jr.
That's a good pick. I love Ken Griffey.
I do too. Like I said, like the impact that he had on the game culturally was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just when I think about cool baseball players, he's number one on the list.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody that I would love to see play alongside Mike Schmidt. And so that's what I got for my number 2. My number 3 pick.
So while you're doing that, I just wanted to ask you, considering the injuries he had later in his career, how far do you think he could have gone, or statistically, how great could he have been?
I think he would have been the best player of all time.
Yeah.
I think he's top 10 in my opinion. He was unbelievable when he came up. And if he just has 3 more full seasons, he's probably got 700, and he's probably he's a great defensive player.
Yeah,
it's a real shame. The same thing with like Trout too. He's missed some time. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Like, definitely. I think injuries really, really took something special away from us when it comes to him. I think he would have been up there with the absolute best. Not that he isn't already incredible. All right, so now number 3. This is tough.
Yeah, this is because you can't really go wrong with anyone at all. But you want to get the people that you want. You want to be happy about your team.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna take somebody who gives me a little bit of flexibility in the with the bat. Somebody who is again arguably one of the best in the positions of all time. I'm gonna go with Ozzie Smith at shortstop.
Ooh, interesting choice.
That's first off. You're going defensive minded too, because he was a good hitter, but he was known for his glove.
Yep.
Any highlight you see, he is flashing the leather.
Trying to build myself a well-rounded team here. Defense, offense, switch hitter helps the lineup for sure.
Now, is he your leadoff hitter? Or at least right now, or you as you're planning everything.
We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out. I'm trying to get a gauge for who he's picking.
Right, I'm not going to give you
No.
But, yeah,
I like that pick.
The Wizard defensively incredible. Best backflip in the draft so far, by far. Also, so like I said, like players that I would like to have, players that I would love to watch together, like Griffey and Ozzie are both so entertaining. So Schmidt, but like a big part of what my list, my draft is going to be just players that I would love to see play in their prime, and so he's one of them.
Yeah. My list might be a boomer list. I don't know.
Mine's probably gonna be too.
We'll see. Now I have a look at some fun players on my team. Okay, so it's my turn.
Back to you.
Okay. This is a little bit of pressure because, I don't want to. I want to take players that I know that I'm going to want on my team for sure. He's going to fall. He's going to fall. He's going to fall. Yeah, you know what? I need some, modern. I need some modern in my my lineup right now. That's what I'm going to need. So I'm going to take Trout. I'm going to take Trout. He's not super flashy, but, he already has career WAR higher than Derek Jeter. And I'm just going to throw that in because I don't like Derek Jeter that much. But also, Trout, 3-time MVP already. He would already be a Hall of Famer. He's only 31, 32. And, he's still arguably the second, with Ohtani maybe number 1. You could take Trout number 2, number 3. And in my opinion, I still think he's arguably one of the best players in the game. So I got my outfield. Outfield all set,
Trout in center, Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I got to go into the infield a bit because I haven't really touched that yet.
Neither have I.
And an area which I think might still be...
Makes me happy.
I think there's still great players at this position. I think I want to zero in on second base.
I know who you're taking.
And I want to go with someone who is not only one of the best second basemen to ever play, but also was a great broadcaster after he played.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with that man from Cincinnati, Joe Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was on
who was a winner,
one of my short list.
a great fielder, and a great hitter, and was a back-to-back MVP. And at a pretty at a time when there was a lot of great players in baseball in the mid 1970s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know him as, John Miller and Joe Morgan together on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, who best broadcast, I think, in baseball history. That's not like that's like a ESPN, Fox, stuff like that. But Joe Morgan, fantastic player, 100%.
Yeah. He was. It was between him and Smith, and I just went with Ozzie.
Yeah.
But can't argue with it. It's a great
No.
pick.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, you go either the hitter or you go with the
Right,
fielder
exactly.
and
And
everything.
I already
Yeah.
had some hitters. So.
Yeah,
another position we have in
he was on my short list too. Like I because second base, there's only a couple, like second baseman, third baseman, and you probably could say catcher. This you got 4 or 5 like really good, but then tears off pretty quickly. Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of catcher, I think that's what I'm going to go with next. And it's not an easy pick because there's really like a top tier catchers that there's a limited number of. But
Yankee bias here.
there is Yankee bias, but I'm
Yeah.
going to go against the Yankee
Oh.
bias in this case.
Oh,
And I'm actually going to go quite the opposite because I know there's good many Yankee fans who don't like him. I'm going to pick Piazza.
oh my God!
At
Hometown
catcher.
Norristown's own Mike Piazza.
Wow.
Because I think he's the greatest hitting catcher in baseball history.
Wow. Okay.
And he was still solid at fielding, but his main thing was hitting. And when he could hit, he could really hit the ball.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh my.
It was a tough choice, but I think that's the way I'm going to go with that.
So, did Roger Clemens try to throw that bat at him?
No.
No.
Maybe.
Kevin sources say maybe.
I was at the game when after that whole controversy, they were playing a regular season game, the Yankees and the Mets at Shea, and
Yeah.
someone threw at Roger Clemens.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. No, Mike Piazza grew up in Norristown, and so I think I'm not sure if he moved out of the area.
And I
but-
think Tom Lasorda was his godfather.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's not who I had in either. I had him as my number 4 catcher. So that was like, even though I only have 3, there's only going to be 3 catchers taken. I still wanted to have options. That's okay. All right. Oh man, I don't know who I want. I want all of them. All right, I don't need to do any of these. Well, no, that's for DH.
Have some fun, Peaches.
You know what? I'm going to go with who he was my favorite player growing up that wasn't a Philly. And he just retired last year. And there's some bias, to talk about him not being in a premium position, but he was also a Gold Glover, and he passed 7 home runs before he retired.
Yep.
So I'm going with the best first baseman of all time, Albert Pujols.
Best player of the 2000s without question.
Oh yeah. I think he's got better numbers than Trout in Trout's career, and Trout's considered the best player of all time. But
Yeah.
Pujols, the only thing he didn't have was speed, but he was a Gold Glove first baseman. He hit 300. He had 40 home runs, and also stand-up guy. Has a lot of charity foundations. I think with the autism community, and just I've always loved him as a player. I was always kind of jealous that Howard never got to his ability in terms of like overall. Like Howard had the power and everything, but Pujols was just all around better in every way. So taking Pujols, love it.
All right. Is that me now?
Yep, that's you.
All right. Next, I am going to stick with outfielders. In the left field, I'm going to put arguably the greatest contact hitter of all time,
Oh, I think I know where you're going with
doing.
this.
Tony Gwynn.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was gonna be my DH.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
He is more than an honorable mention in our list.
Do you ever just look at his stats?
Yep.
Over time and just like, how the heck did he do it?
Right.
It's a shame that he passed away because there would have been so much knowledge him passing on to all
As
the
a
other
hitting
hitters
coach.
as a hitting coach and just
Yeah.
all the other. It's just amazing
Right.
what he did.
I mean, in an era now where it's normal for guys to strike out so much, you look at like his stats of many times he struck out in a season, you see like 15, 17,
Yeah.
18, 14 times he struck out in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Greg
Incredible.
Maddox hated him. I think he's against like the Braves trio. I think he had a 400 batting average against all of them. It was at least 350 or higher. And I'm like, those are 3 Hall of Famers. Like that's not even. It's just a game to him, man.
Yeah.
It's not even like a job or
Nope.
or it's just a game.
Yep.
Great pick. Love Tony Gwynn. Probably top 5 all time. One of my favorite
Yep.
players.
Yep.
Never even got to see him play, but just great guy.
All right, and so to complete my outfield here, there's I got Griffey, who, I already listed my reasons why I picked him, but Gwynn and this guy are both just going to be on base machines. I'm gonna go ahead and take Ichiro
Ooh.
in right field.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got some of the best averages that you'll see in the draft. So between those two guys, putting them early, high in my lineup, I'm just gonna let them get on base and let the rest of my guys drive them in.
I mean, Ichiro, if you count his hits in Japan and the U.S., he's got the most hits in baseball history.
Yep.
I mean, stud.
Hitting machine.
And he could field too and run.
Yeah.
So
He got
Yep.
cannon.
it wasn't just the hitting.
Oh, yeah.
either.
Yeah.
He's a fun player.
Yep.
It's a fun player. Yeah, definitely. I'd say Taylor might have the most fun team right now, maybe, in terms of just personalities, I would say.
A
So
huge
far.
huge part of
So
what
far.
what I'm here for.
So far, yeah. But that's right. It's my turn now.
Yep,
Oh,
back
jeez.
to you.
Okay. I'm gonna stick in the infield. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not ready yet.
You want a fun Ichiro?
Yes,
stat
give me a
wall?
fat. Yeah.
In Ichiro Suzuki's 10th at bat, he hit a single that raised his career batting average above 300. It never went below that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
10 at bats.
Oh my goodness.
And the man was a 300 hitter for
And,
the rest
and
of
if
his
you
life.
were alive when he first came over to the United States, he was a huge deal. Like,
Yeah.
he really burst on the scene, and anybody from Japan,
Mhm.
they loved him. They were all over him at the All-Star game. It was in Seattle that year. He got a standing ovation, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm. Another,
Yeah.
another big cultural guy on my
Oh,
team,
yeah.
which is another big thing. for
So,
me.
who do we think is bigger in terms of when they came over, Otani or Ichiro?
Ichiro.
Ichiro, because I think
Because he was the first.
yeah, I
big-
think
yeah.
Otani would have been
Yeah.
bigger if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Ichiro.
Yeah, because what was it? Ichiro's like a god over there.
Yeah.
Like Otani's kind of like the king right now, but Ichiro's a god.
Mm-hmm.
And when Otani saw Ichiro at the Seattle Mariners game, he bowed to him. Like it's almost like it's not worthy. Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
So, kind of goes along with our idea of that, like get some premium positions. Some that you could. I could take someone that I really love at this position because I love who they are and just the grit that they show. But I know that I would regret it if I didn't take like the guy that I know is just the better player. And like the gut me for second base wants to take Utley because I just love Utley so much. He's just the player that you want on your team. But Roger Hornsby is just ridiculous.
I was thinking him too.
358 batting average, 301 home runs, 1,500 RBIs, almost 1,600, and an OPS over 1,000 for a second baseman. 127 career WAR. I know I'm just listing stats, and it's an older guy, but I'll take that. I'll take that 358 batting average and on base percentage of 434. So, Roger Hornsby, second baseman. Also, 2-time MVP.
Yeah. I'm going to stick in the infield as well. He was a contemporary of Schmidt, albeit in the American League. I feel like I have to go with him. Oh, definitely one of the best third basemen of all time. Also, Mr. Pine Tar himself, George Brett.
George Brett. Ooh.
George Brett. He had a 305 career average. I think he was in 1980, he hit like 390. He was like one of the closest to reach 400 after Ted Williams did.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a World Series champion, 3-time AL batting champion, and a Gold Glove winner.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's up there, man. He's up there. He's fun too. I think he's got that fire in him, obviously from the Pine Tar incident, but yeah. Oh, you're up again?
I am up again. I got to go back to the outfield. And there's not enough Yankees in my lineup.
Also, we haven't talked about who's considered like the best player of all time by the general fan.
Well, I'm going to go with someone who is super athletic, and without his injuries, he might be considered up in the top tier, even though he might be already. He was one of the most popular players of his era.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick him in right field.
Yeah.
He was one of the best switch hitters of all time. Great fielder. Shame his knees were giving out at the end of his career because he was built and he could hit and field and run when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
And a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah. He's a good player, man. And it really makes me sad that I couldn't see these players play. They have that legend to them. Mm-hmm. And we can't just obviously we can look at old tape and everything, but just seeing them play in person, we get to see Ohtani highlights we can just look it up like that, just like super quick. But seeing the Mickey Mantle idea that he hit a home run like 650 feet, it's just like I want to see that for real, and it makes me just a little bit upset. So okay. You didn't take your shortstop yet, have you?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm the only one.
Take Derek.
Yeah.
Take Derek.
I'm not taking. He's not even on my list.
Take Derek.
No, I'd take Jimmy Rollins over Derek Jeter. Come on, gosh, most overrated guy. Okay. Shortstop or catcher. Shortstop or catcher. Shortstop or catcher. Shortstop or catcher. I'm gonna go catcher. And you didn't want to steal on this guy. He might not have been the best hitter, but he was. I mean, you don't even know him by his real name. Don't even know him by his real name.
Lawrence?
No. His nickname was Pudge.
Oh.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Yvonne.
I thought you were going to go the Yogi route.
So it finished with 296. What?
Said I know him by his first name. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? MVP as a catcher, 14-time All-Star, 13-time Gold Glove Award winner. He's also a Hall of Famer, won the World Series, 7-time Silver Slugger. And arguably, you put him and Yachty next to each other probably in best defensive catchers of all time, but Pudge was a better hitter. Johnny Bench, I can't remember if was Johnny a good fielder? I don't remember him being a great fielder, but that's a 10-time Gold Glover, yeah. So Pudge had a little bit more. Johnny Bench had one other MVP, but Pudge was a little bit better average, had a little bit more RBIs, but I love Pudge. I remember when he tagged the guy out at home and he just grabbing the ball with the fierce face. He's like, yeah. I love Pudge. So that's my pick
He was third on my list
for catcher.
catchers. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had Johnny Bench as my number one, but I would rather have Pudge. I think I would rather have Pudge.
All right. So both of you have your catchers. Both of you have your second baseman. So I don't have to worry about taking one of those anytime soon. I still need a first baseman, a starting pitcher, and a relief pitcher. I'm gonna go first base. And this pick is I'm looking to get some justice for somebody. And I'm gonna take a man who belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna take Pete Rose.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's not the steroid scandal. It's the
It's
the betting scandal.
stupid betting
Yeah,
scandal
no.
that
Mhm.
should have been overturned. And he belongs in the Hall of Fame because, for goodness sake, the man could hit. Like,
Yeah, he could.
it's so dumb, and it's such an injustice that they're not letting him in for something.
He's
like
not going
that.
to get it until he passes away.
No. And
They're,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, they're holding it against him, and also the writers and all the voters for the Hall of Fame are boomers, and they are. That's the one thing. That's the one criteria that I don't like about it's. It's a real shame that, obviously, no one wants to see what happened, but he should be in. I agree.
Yep.
I like that pick.
Thank you.
Did you have something to add, Kev? Looks like you were about to say something. No. Okay.
No, I was just gonna say he's probably gonna be a Veterans Committee guy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I didn't even have him on my list.
No.
No.
To be honest, I didn't have him on my list until this morning.
Okay.
As I was leaving for work, I was like, "Oh, wait,
Okay.
hold on," and then he jumped to the second behind Pujols.
I'm curious. How long have you had your list since you first created it?
A couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Kev,
Yep.
you?
I have no list.
You have no list.
No,
Ooh.
it's all off the top of the
There you go.
dome.
I was going to do that route, but then I got off work a little bit early, and I just put together a chart and I was like,
That was probably the smarter way to
yeah.
go.
But I didn't know how to take them because I was like, should I take them?
I only had an idea of how I wanted to take them based on the positions.
Yeah.
So like I would go for like the rarer positions
Mhm.
first.
Yeah.
Like the ones with the less top tier players, and then go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Is it my no? Is my turn?
No,
it's
it's
your
my,
turn. Yeah.
my second.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take the first starting pitcher off the board. I'm going to go ahead. There's a couple different ways.
It's gonna be an interesting pick.
Yep. I'm going to go for entertainment factor again, also with skill. I'm going to go Nolan Ryan.
Ooh.
Want to talk about a team that would win in a fight?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I got
right
my
now.
starting pitch
Yeah,
Especially
there you go.
Robin Ventura.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, you have a fiery bunch
Dude,
for
yep,
sure.
I was about to
For
say,
sure.
I'm going for some fire in that. I'm going for passion, and I want.
You might have some fights in the clubhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
He was
Rose and Ryan going up against each other. Oh my gosh. All right, but yeah,
And then you got Ichiro
Both-
not being
both
able
of
to
them.
speak English really well.
he's going to be the peacemaker on the team for sure. But
Well, Gwen was kind of soft spoken too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we've definitely got some cool heads that
Yeah.
hopefully will prevail. But
it's a weird balance for sure.
yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be
Yeah,
so fun to watch.
it's definitely an entertainment factor. I'm just not sure. Like he pitched a long time, and he has all the strikeouts and the no hitters, but his ERA wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
It's-
He never
it's-
won a Cy Young.
No.
No.
But I mean,
He did. He's all-time
Let's-
strikeout leader.
Yeah.
Yep.
Longevity. Like you want a
Yeah.
guy pitching for your franchise for 20-something years. How many years? Did he play?
27 years. I
27
think.
years.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, your ERA is not going to be great if you pitch for 27 years.
no.
So, but anyway, yeah, like, still a great pitcher. You know, all the no hitters. Like, if I wanted to send
Mhm.
one guy out there to win one game, like, it might be him. And so, like, but it all kind of goes back to, you know, these are just players that I would love to see play with each other that are also great players. So,
All right. I like it. What do I want to do? Now that your pitcher's off the board that I didn't expect to be taken, I don't think Kev's gonna. I don't think either of you guys are gonna take. You have your shortstop. You're not gonna take him. I don't think either of my guys are gonna be taken. All right, I'll go shortstop right now. He's a junior. It's not Derek Jeter.
Derek.
Uh,
Oh, I know who you're going with.
Did I upset someone? Did I upset someone? I
Kind
just said
of.
his name.
He's number 2 on my list. If it's
I think I know where you're going.
So he's a shortstop to start. He did transfer to third base as he got older. 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer. But Cal Ripken
Yep.
Jr.
Yep.
I mean, he has a little league named after him, and also a couple. I think a stadium too. Finished with 431 home runs. But what is he known for mostly?
never taking a day off.
Never taking a day off. So I have a guy that I know I can put in my lineup every single day. And, just I'm glad I got – I mean, looking at my list, I definitely am old school.
Yep.
Just classic, just play the ball right way. So,
as for me, I know I have a bias because they're my favorite team, but I have to go with him, and it's a sin that he hasn't been taken yet, I think, because he's, to me, the most underrated player in baseball history.
Ooh.
He held the record for longest game streak before Cal Ripken,
oh, okay. Yep.
but he should be known for so much more than that, other than being the disease he unfortunately passed away from. Lou Gehrig has to be my first baseman.
The Iron Horse.
He held the record until A-Rod for most Grand Slams. He has the most consecutive seasons with 120-plus RBIs, the highest on-base percentage by a first baseman, highest slugging percentage by a first baseman, most extra base hits by a first baseman ever. He still holds those records.
He's Iron Horse, man. He is. Yeah, I agree that he's underrated because he gets overshadowed by Ruth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, he's just he should be higher. I have bias toward Pujols because I saw him play, but I think if I probably saw Gehrig play, I would love him because of just the raw power and just. I think he played an entire season with a broken finger or hand.
He broke every finger in his hand at least once, I think.
Gosh, that's just ridiculous.
And he still played.
Don't make him like they used to.
No.
You don't make them like they used to. So, all right.
And
Back to you again.
I guess this is time for me to round out my infield. This is difficult. I don't know what to do with shortstop. I don't want to necessarily choose Jeter.
Why not, Kevin?
Why not? Is he a little overrated?
No. But I think there are a couple of shortstops that were better than he was. Cal Ripken was going to be my choice.
Okay.
Before you took him. Ozzie Smith was up there as well.
You going to go old school or are you going to do a Cincinnati Red that I'm thinking of? Or a Cora Cub?
Oh, I think I know which Cincinnati Red you're talking about, even though I don't think I'm going to go with him necessarily. I'm going to go with a Brewer instead. Someone who played contemporaneously with Joe Morgan around that time, I think in the 70s and 80s, Robin Yount.
Ooh. So I almost added him to my list, but I didn't think he was consistent enough for me to add him to my list, but he's still a very, very good player.
Yeah. I mean, he's still...
he's a Hall of Fame.
He was another guy who didn't strike out a lot.
Yeah.
He was a 2-time MVP, Silver Slugger, and Gold Glover.
Yeah.
He wasn't as consistent like you say.
Yeah.
But when he was at the top of this game, he was one of the very best.
Yeah.
And we're drafting in their prime lineups. So,
Yeah.
like, regardless of, inconsistencies at times, like, you're not drafting him because he's inconsistent. You're drafting in his best year.
Yeah.
And so, great pick.
Yeah. Okay. So I got. Oh yeah,
Two
the
picks
DH.
left?
The DH.
Oh, and the DH.
That's why I was confused. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go pitcher, and I've talked about his name, talked about him on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
I was considering Kershaw for this because he
Really?
has the lowest ERA out of anyone with the minimum amount of with the requirement for innings pitched.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God, if there's someone that can just locate the ball which is what you're supposed to do as a pitcher, it's Greg Maddux. And Greg Maddux, I think, is not only a great pitcher, but what? Did you guys pull like a what? You knew I was going to take Greg Maddux? Yeah. No, I
look at the board.
Vince Velasquez.
Vinny
They put-
Velo, baby.
Vinny Velo. Oh my goodness. They put Vinny Velo in. He was doing a little bit. He was doing pretty good.
In his best year,
yeah.
he was
But,
terrible.
Oh yeah. But Greg Maddux, not only a 4-time ERA title and a 4-time Cy Young Award winner, he was also an 18-time Gold Glove Award winner. So if the ball's hit back at him, he knows what he's doing.
Flashing the leather.
Yeah, career 3.16 ERA. He definitely tailed off a little bit towards the end of his career, but that's what happens with age a little bit. But I mean, he knew how to paint the corners, and that's what you want as a pitcher. I love Greg Maddux, even though he's a Brave. I got 2 Braves on my team. What is this? Gosh. All right. Greg Maddux. Love it. Vince Velasquez. Get out of here.
Back to
Maybe
me.
if they just converted him to a closer, he would have been on my list as best closers of all time, but nah.
All right. So on my board, not including DH, which we're taking last, I still have catcher, second baseman, and a relief pitcher. Wow.
Wait, is all the outfield done? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Kev has
I
one
went for
more.
mine early.
Okay.
Kev's got one more outfielder.
Yeah, there's some good outfielders
Some big
left.
names left.
There's a lot of good
Given
outfielders
how
left.
many there are, there's very likely to have a high number in that. All right, I'm gonna take my catcher and get him off the board. Might be a little bit of a surprise pick.
Chris Coast,
No.
Carlos Ruiz.
I don't know. I wouldn't say he was underrated. He was incredible in his time. So consistent throughout the course of his career, and just an overall very talented player. I'm going to go with Joe Mauer
Ooh, yeah.
at catcher. I loved Joe Mauer when he was playing. An incredible athlete all around.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, when it came to consistency, like the dude was Mr. Consistent behind
Yeah.
the plate.
Yeah, it's a shame injuries
Yep.
took a hold of him.
Yep.
Do you know the fun stat about his high school career?
Mm-mm.
He only struck out once.
Hmm.
One time.
I'm going to draft him for that year.
Remember high school Joe Mauer.
High
Just
school
put high
Joe
school
Mauer.
put high school next to his name.
No, but yeah.
He's a legend in Minnesota.
Yeah, first from the motherland pick there for Joe Mauer. I was born in Minnesota. But yeah, just like I said, watching him play, some of the plays that he made, like remember when he reached around the
Oh yeah. Just
net and made
boom,
the catch? That was
boom.
incredible. But yeah, great defensively, super consistent at the plate. And yeah,
Yeah.
so somebody that I would love to have on my team.
He was also on the cover of MLB The Show twice.
Yeah.
The only player to ever do it twice.
Yeah. How many times was Ted Williams on the cover of MLB The Show?
Nah, I don't know, but he served in the military for 3 years, so thank you for his service, Ted Williams.
All right. And yeah, you know what? I'll go with my relief pitcher. I'm gonna go with Trevor Hoffman.
Ooh, okay. Second all time in
Second
in
all
saves.
time
Yep.
in saves.
Mhm.
Yep, that's kind of my thought. Like, yeah, it's obviously Kev got number one. I don't think there is any argument with that. So
No.
might as well take number two when it comes to saves at least.
Yeah.
Curious to see what you think 3 would be.
Yeah,
Who am I?
you're the only one that needs that position.
Oh yeah, no. I'm drafting him last.
Yeah.
I'm drafting him
So
last.
that means you're taking third.
What?
You're taking your third baseman next then.
Yes. Well, yeah. Are we gonna draft? We're gonna draft the DH after the relief pitcher.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Gotcha.
Last over.
This one's probably my biggest surprise, in my opinion, because he's still playing.
I know who he's going to take.
He's struggling a little bit right now.
Aaron Hicks.
No.
Aaron's
God, could you imagine?
Aaron is in his name, though.
He hasn't won MVP, but he's been consistent every year. And not only is he a Gold Glover, but he's been a 6-time Platinum Glove Award winner, which means that he's been the best defensive player in the entire league he played in Colorado for a little bit for most of his career. Now he's with St. Louis, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and I think he's going to be probably, in my opinion, top 5 all-time third baseman. I'm going with Nolan Arenado.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite players too.
Saw it coming.
He makes everything look so easy in the field, but if I need him to, he's clutch too, as we've known in the World Baseball Classic this past year. And I'm hoping that the Cardinals put it back together and hopefully gets to the playoffs, get him a World Series ring. But I just love Nolan Arenado.
He wasn't very clutch in the playoffs last year, I got to say.
No, he didn't. He wasn't. Not in the playoffs. No.
Unlike someone who isn't up on that list, Brooks Robinson from Baltimore, who you mentioned earlier.
I did mention him. Yes. I didn't like Brooks's 260 average career. Gold Glove and arguably probably the best defensive third baseman. But I think Arenado, if he keeps it up, he could overtake him, in my opinion. And that's where I'm kind of hoping.
I would like to see him win first.
Oh, Nolan is a World Series?
Well, just success in the postseason. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he played for Colorado for how many years? He played for Colorado
Yeah,
for...
that's to Taylor's point. When he did get the opportunity, he did not do well.
Let's see. Let's look at his postseason stats right now. Postseason. 152 average in the postseason right now. But he's only had 33 at-bats. So, yeah. He's not Carlos Beltran or... I'm trying to think of other... Albert Pujols. Okay, I got Albert Pujols to hit the clutch. Not Jeter. No. Jeter's... whatever.
Jeter was absolutely clutch in the postseason.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, the Yankees, so many championships. Derek Jeter, biracial angel.
Yes, let the salt flow through you.
Okay,
all right.
Your turn.
Yes, it is my turn, and these are my last 2 picks coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
So for my starting pitcher, I wanted to go with someone who was fierce as Nolan Ryan, maybe even fiercer, scarier when you faced him, but also had the stats and ERA, I would say, of a Maddox.
Oh, I guessed it right. He's one of my favorite pitchers.
He still holds the record in the live ball era for the lowest ERA in a season, 1.12, and he just struck fear in the hearts of all the batters he faced and was an excellent postseason pitcher. I'm going with Bob Gibson.
Yeah. If I want a pitcher that I know is going to stand up for his team, it's going to be Bob Gibson. He's going to throw at you every single time, no matter what. Yeah. He's in my all-time rotation, 100%.
Yeah.
Good pick. Good pick.
Thank you, sir. And now for my last to stick in left field, I'm going to go with someone a bit older, definitely more controversial, but definitely one of the all-time best players. Controversial for more his off the field, what he said, as opposed to on the field back in his time. Mr. Ty Cobb.
Okay.
He still, I think, holds the average record. He had like a 366 batting average, something like that.
Okay.
He held the hits record until Pete Rose, and was and when he was elected into the Hall of Fame for the first ballot, I think he had the highest percentage of votes, more than Babe Ruth or the other guys. So, I think I can't. But I think that's the case.
I like that pick. So now is my last pick before the DH.
Yep,
This is my relief pitcher. And he might be known for a certain home run that was hit off him by a Dodger that was injured. But he also has a higher career WAR than Mariano Rivera for a relief pitcher. And I'm going with, a little mustache guy, Dennis Eckersley, as my relief pitcher. Not too flashy, He's got 390 saves, 3.5 ERA, 62.1 WAR. But it's in the Hall of Fame. He won an MVP.
Yeah.
Did Mariano Rivera ever win an MVP?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Just wondering. Did Mariano Rivera ever win a Cy Young?
He's a reliever. Also, Dennis
Eckersley won a Cy Young.
Was that as a reliever or as a starting pitcher? Because I think he was a starting pitcher at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, he was 7-1 and had 51 saves when he won Cy Young.
And also in the 70s
1.1.
and 80s. I mean, more to Eckersley's credit, he pitched more innings as a closer than Mariano Rivera did. Because because the role of the closer was different for Eckersley than it was for Rivera.
Yeah.
Because Eckersley would go 2-3 innings as a
No,
closer.
I'm just getting you riled up.
I
I
know.
know Mariano Rivera's better. It's
I
funny.
know.
'Cause
I'm just.
I'm
just-
like, well, does Mariano
I'm-
Rivera have this? No, he
I'm just
doesn't.
giving you feedback. Yeah.
These were drafted in the order in which I had them listed on my list.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, to me. So my final position player is going to be second base. I'm going to go back to Minnesota. I'm going to go Rod Carew.
Ooh, that's a good.
That's
one.
a good one. I
Mhm.
like that pick.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he made it that far. Yeah, overall great player. Above 300, I think 325.
Oh yeah, one of the best hitters of all
yep.
time.
Yeah. 3,000 hits too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Also, look at us just like stats, just like that. It's great. I love this. It's fantastic.
Yep. And so, let me see if I can pull out his exact stat line, career-wise. Yeah, 328, 3,053 hits, 92 home runs, 1,015 RBIs. Solid hitter.
Solid.
Last position player, happy to get him there.
Mm-hmm.
So that rounds up my lineup. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I would love to watch that team play together. Like you said, there's a lot of fire on that team. It'd be very entertaining. Who knows how many wins they'd have, but man, they'd be good to watch.
Well, you still got a DH to
Yep, I
add
still
to your
got a
lineup.
DH still add to my lineup. And there's a couple different ways that I can go here. You see, boys, when you've been talking about fixing baseball, and I have one specific way that you guys have mentioned on this podcast that I believe could help fix the game of baseball today. And that is the idea of what I call the mule, which is one player on every team gets one guy who's allowed to take steroids. And so because of that, and for the sake of just fun, I'm going to take Barry Bonds.
Gosh.
Because
Yeah.
why not? It's going to be an
Yeah.
incredible time. Just add another personality to that lineup and see how big of a fire they can start. But then also, yeah, I mean, obviously an incredible home run hitter, feared like none other that came before him at the time. And, you know, I think his career stats, as asterisk-y as you want to take them, are it's going to speak for themselves. And like I said, if it was an actual draft, if we were taking it super seriously, I would probably take somebody else. But the fact that I have to stick to my guns when it comes to the mule, and I do genuinely believe it would be something that would add a lot of fun to the game of baseball, as problematic as it would be, and as much as I would realistically never want to see it, I'm going to take Barry Bonds.
It's just funny looking at his stats because there's so many bold categories in Baseball Reference. So it means he led the league that time. He's also leads the career-wise in 3 categories: home runs, walks, and intentional walks. He had 120 intentional walks in 2004. 120.
They'd walk him with the bases loaded.
Like Joey Gallo doesn't even get on base 120 for 3 seasons. Gosh. Yeah. So I love the idea of a mule. Obviously, I can't wait to have that podcast because it's such a great idea. But for my DH, we haven't taken arguably the guy that, you know, probably changed baseball back in the day. You know, before Jackie Robinson changed baseball for the better with color barrier. But talking about, you know, if someone were to name a baseball player who's a general fan, they probably name this player as probably the best player of all time. And it just as a designated hitter, you know, he doesn't need to, you know, play the field, doesn't need to do anything. I just need him to be like, you know, Kyle Schwarber and just hit bombs. And
I've got thoughts on him.
Babe Ruth. Why not? I mean, I could have taken Stan Musial. I thought about taking Ricky Henderson, who is considered the greatest of all time by him. But I was like, Babe Ruth. You know, Baby Ruth. I don't know what else to say. It's just, I love my lineup. I'll take it.
I think you would have been not that great in many eras of baseball.
Okay, that's the thing. But like, we don't know that.
we
We don't. We don't. Like, we're taking the greatest of all time in this lineup, in this draft.
Mhm.
What we think would be the best, and I think that he'd be the best.
Well, you took 2 players off my board now.
Cal Ripken and Babe Ruth, those are 2.
Yep, because I was going to go with him at DH as well because he doesn't have to field or do anything.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
needs to hit and hit
Yeah.
home runs.
And you know what? I can have him come in and pitch too, because I got a 2-way player. Boom.
Yeah.
He'd get lit up.
Well, if we're gonna go that route,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't have
gonna
a lot of
go.
speed
I'm
as
kind
my
of
pitchers.
go. I'm kind of gonna go the route of the mule.
Yes.
Uh, but the thing is that I already have enough Yankees in my lineup. I have 1, 2, 3 of them. Yeah, 3. Let's just go with 4 then.
Yeah, there you go.
Even though he was not a full-time Yankee and not all Yankee fans love him, but he did hit a lot of home runs, almost hit 700. Go with A-Rod.
Oh, okay.
All right.
A-Rod. One of the worst commentators and always talks with his hands. Never can stop moving his hands.
But he can hit home runs.
But we're not here to
so,
talk
so,
about
so,
his
guy.
and that's why I need in my lineup.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So who was your mule again? Who was your DH?
Bonds.
Bonds.
Right behind
So all our DHs are top 3 or top 4 in home runs.
Yeah.
I think Pujols is ahead of A-Rod.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I have three
yeah.
7. I have 3 700 home run hitters, 700 plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So be it. All right.
Yeah, I realized that I'm not going for speed with my pitching. I got Greg Maddux, Dennis Eckersley, and if I wanted to have Babe Ruth go, not going for speed at all. He's throwing 85.
He
Peyton-
did steal
Pey-
home a couple times.
Who?
Babe Ruth.
Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about
No,
pitching.
no.
Pitching. Yeah.
Well, pitching, he was one of the best pitchers of his era, too. Babe
Yeah.
Ruth.
And now let's go through our lineups for our teams. And Taylor, why don't you go first with your lineup?
Yeah, so looking at my team, something that I realized very early on is there's a lot of left-handed hitting. And so the way I kind of filled it out and organized it was so that there was the most space between lefties, which was 2 at a time. So leading off, I've got Ichiro Suzuki.
That's a good leadoff hitter. Yeah. Yep.
Second, we got Tony Gwynn. Third, Mike Schmidt. Fourth, Barry Bonds. Fifth, Ken Griffey Jr. Sixth, Pete Rose. Seventh, Rod Carew. Eighth, Joe Mauer. Ninth, Ozzie Smith.
I like that lineup.
Pretty
I'd go pay to
solid.
see that lineup.
I would pay a lot of money.
A lot of
I'd
singles
buy-
and doubles.
I would pay to see any of these
A lot of
lineups,
singles,
really.
doubles, and walks.
Yep. We're going to be on base a lot. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And I think at the same time, we're also
Gonna struggle against Randy Johnson or
we're going to struggle against some certain kind of pitching, but we've got a lot of personality. We got a lot of heart, and we're going to annoy the crap out of you on the bases.
Okay. I'll go with my lineup now. I got Mike Trout leading off. Hank Aaron batting second. Babe Ruth batting third. Yeah, I realized I'm the opposite of you. I only have 2 left-handed hitters.
Yep.
So it's the complete opposite. So after Ruth batting third, Albert Pujols batting fourth. So my 2, 3, 4 hitters have 2,100 home runs. Ted Williams batting fifth. Arenado batting sixth. Ripken batting seventh. Pudge batting eighth. And then a 350 hitter, Roger Hornsby, batting ninth.
And don't forget, fifth, I think Williams hit like 500 home runs.
Yeah, no,
too,
I got a
so
lot
it's
of home
like-
runs in my lineup. We're if you want to come see a show over the fence, like and stand and cheer, like I said earlier, just put me in Coors Field and you'll have a lot of fun.
A lot of home runs and no personality.
That's not true. That's not true. Not all. It's okay. I don't have a ton of personality.
everyone-
No, my team is pretty close to what I just want. Like guys that are just going to do their job and play baseball the right way. Like that's what my guys are.
All of our teams are very indicative of our personalities.
Totally.
I want to watch the game to have fun and enjoy the personalities of the guys out there on the field. And Peaches, you're pretty dull.
But
That's a personality.
You're gonna have.
I mean, yeah,
You
that's
could
what
have
it's
adult-
indicative of his
it's adult
personality.
personality.
Okay, I should say I have adult personality when it comes to baseball. Just play the game the right way. But okay, fine, whatever. Kev, your turn. Your turn.
I guess that's why you didn't choose a mule as your DH.
No, I did not.
Nope.
I chose arguably people consider the best player of all time. So
Would be a beer leaguer nowadays.
that's fine. I don't care. As long as he doesn't have to field the ball at all. All he has to do is swing the bat and round the bases. That's all I need him to do.
I didn't really choose my lineup based on lefty or righty hitting. I think it's pretty decently split up. I just did more in terms of power and contact. So I had Ty Cobb leading off, Joe Morgan after that, and then my middle of the lineup guys: Gehrig at third, Mantle fourth, Mays fifth, A-Rod sixth, and then rounding out the bottom with the Piazza, and then Youn at 8, and then Brett at 9, and just go back up the order once again.
Who's your leadoff hitter again?
Cobb.
Okay. Willie Mays batting fifth is
Yeah.
that's pretty odd. Like that's deep.
Yeah.
That's gosh.
I have a very deep middle of the lineup.
Yeah.
None of the other guys can't hit. Like the top of my lineup, they're great hitters.
Yeah.
But it's the middle guys that really carry my offense.
Yeah. You know, I agree. Like after I got Trout, Aaron, Ruth, Pujols, Ted Williams, then I got Arenado, Ripken, Pudge, Hornsby. Like after Ted Williams, I'm like, all right, they're great players, but you know, kind of top heavy a little bit. I might mix it up every once in a while, but yeah, I like these teams.
I did
They're a lot of fun.
Yep.
They're a lot of fun.
They make sense for all of us.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to like put a vote for what we want to do, like for what we think is the best team, or should we leave it to, you know, do we want to have Pi chime in a little bit right here?
If Pi has any thoughts, I
Yeah.
would say so.
Yeah.
I think
Here.
like I said, all of our teams are very true
Yeah.
to us and who
I'll-
we are as people,
Yeah.
and so I think that's all we really need to say
Yeah.
from the three of us.
Yeah, because the Micro Gnomes, whoever they are, they stole our fourth and third microphone. I'm going to hand off my microphone and the headphones to Pi to give a little bit of, you know, his unbiased opinion.
His superlatives.
Yeah, so I think if I had to pick one team to win, I would probably lean towards Kev's because I think it's the most balanced, and that lineup is extremely deep. Like you kind of said as you were going through a peach, like a little top heavy, like you're 6 through 9, like great hitters. But I, as a pitcher and a former pitcher, like compare the rest of your lineup, I'm much more comfortable facing them. So I think Kev's got the deepest team I think would win. I think Bob Gibson, if I was in this draft, was one of the pitchers I would have targeted. Like, just he's a guy I would love to have him on my team, but would hate to face. Like, I would want nothing. I would be so uncomfortable in the box going up against Bob Gibson. Taylor's team, definitely the most fun, energetic personality, swagger award for team with most swag. Most like probably Twitter posts and Instagram and like just a fun team to go see.
That'd be great.
my team doesn't even know what Instagram is.
Actually, most of your team probably knows what Instagram is.
Yeah, but they probably don't even post on Instagram.
No. But if we're talking like playing today's game, Pete, your lineup probably has the best chance to win playing today's game. So like most, like how many pitchers throw 95 miles per hour, the home run game, like your team probably has the best because just looking at it has the most number of guys that has played since like the 90s to present day. So they're much more used to facing higher velocities. Like, I don't know, Babe Ruth trying to hit a Shohei Ohtani like fastball. Like that was why like I might have taken Ohtani in this draft just because of that versatility of like he can throw 100 and hit a ton of home runs. Like your team I think would very much struggle in today's game facing pitch. Or sorry, your team would be really good today facing today's pitching, whereas I think Kev's team would probably struggle the most older guys. But that's why like drafts are so much fun because it's like, well, in this scenario I like this team, this scenario I don't, and it's like it's just never ending. So
Which team wins in a fight?
in a fight, without a doubt, Taylor's team.
Heck yeah.
I mean, he drafted it perfectly with the mule, Pete Rose,
Nolan Ryan.
Ozzie Smith will be doing like acrobatics all around the field and just like kicking people with his like backflips.
Tony Gwynn and Joe Mauer are just going to be off to the sideline just watching everything.
And Ichiro.
Yeah. No, but like at the same time, like Ichiro would get in there. Like he'd let Godzilla out a little bit if he saw the rest of his team. You know, there's a little bit of like an inner beast in him. If he's disrespected, like Ichiro would stand up for his guys. Like he would. So, but at the same time, if he could choose peace, he's gonna choose peace. So, yeah. So those are my thoughts.
All right.
Thank you, Pi, for that. I think we're at a good time to close it off
Yeah.
with this.
I agree.
For everyone listening, we're going to post the teams online, and we're going to do a poll. I'll make sure to get it out on Facebook, Instagram, and Kev, we do have a Twitter handle, but I think I'm the only one following. I'm not sure.
I
Maybe-
haven't posted in a month, I think. So I should probably get on that if I really
Yeah.
want to be active on that platform.
But we'll post it. And we want to let you know, let us know what you think. You know, comments. You know, who's your favorite team? Who you think's going to win? I'll make sure I'll put a couple polls out. Actually, you know, which one you think's going to win? Which one's your favorite? But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Taylor,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, guys.
Hopefully,
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hopefully next time we'll have found the other microphones, so that way we didn't have to switch off,
Yeah.
and we won't have this scare. And hopefully we find them. If you please let us know if you stole them by accident or anything. Obviously that wouldn't have happened, but you know, just let us know. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. Anyone else got something to say?
Good time. Thanks for having me, boys.
I want to say we have 2 followers on Twitter.
2 followers. Am I one?
Yeah, you're one of
I'm
them.
one.
And the other is Yoshitaka Hirano.
Oh,
YouTube, in the world, Instagram, Arrow, and a lot of Japanese characters I can't read.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Is he popular? Or I don't know if that's a male
He
or female.
has
Okay.
14,000 followers.
Wow.
That's-
Okay.
that's
So
not
we
bad.
shout out to Mr.
Hirano.
Hirano.
And don't forget about our Brussels and Singapore audience. Maybe
Oh,
he's
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have some audience in Singapore and Brussels, and I know out West Coast we have a couple, and
we need to build our global
yeah,
base.
maybe we should
Okay.
we should put like a competition or something like that. Then like the next person that wants to be a guest on our podcast, they have to share the podcast with people or something like that. We'll figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun. Thank you again,
So,
Taylor, for being
yeah.
here,
Yeah,
and
thanks for
thank you,
having me.
Pi, for being the unbiased opinion and giving your thoughts. So, and Kev, thanks for doing everything you do.
Of course. And thank you guys for being here. I had a great time.
See you later.
Bye.